Hey guys, welcome back to the Watch Standard podcast. This is episode 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't watched episode 1 and 2, be sure to look back and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about some rumors. We're going to be talking about discontinued watches, but also rumors of certain watches being discontinued. But before we get into that, I'm Venezia, the social media strategist, and this is...
I'm David.
And before we even get into the nitty-gritty of things, what's on your wrist, David?
So today I'm wearing my Submariner 116610. It's from 2020, right before it got discontinued, and they released the 41 millimeter sub.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that good on your wrist.
Yep, it's my daily. I wear it everywhere.
Nice. Well, I got some bracelets. So yeah, let's talk about first off the discontinued watches.
Yeah, so AP discontinued the 26331 Royal Oak, and it's been replaced by the 26240 ST. So if you haven't seen those models before, they are amazing models. They've been running for a while. Obviously not the new one that just got remade. And we'll put some pictures up right here, and that is going so strong right now. It's also called the 50th anniversary. So it's definitely going to hit a certain expectation for those collectors.
What are some of the differences like physically with the watch?
Yeah, so some of the biggest differences right off the bat is you'll see that the older model has 2 different colors on the dials. So you'll have like that dark blue dial, and you'll have those subdials at a lighter color. Whereas the new AP, the new chrono, it has basically the same color on the subdials as it does on the bigger dial.
Gotcha.
Some other differences would actually be that the 50th anniversary is ever so slightly thicker. Honestly, most people wouldn't know it, and you probably wouldn't even notice it if you held the two hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if you have an extremely skinny wrist, you might tell the difference, but I mean, skinny gang, where you at, skinny wrist gang, right? But I think another thing I do want to mention is that the 50th anniversary has a 50th anniversary mark on the oscillating weight. So that definitely is going to stand out to anyone who takes the watch and flips it over, because you'll see that thing spinning around. It's not the normal weight you'll see in that AP chrono. And we don't know if they're going to keep continuing that model per se. And some people think that they're going to create a new anniversary model from that.
Interesting.
Yep. And a new model coming out of that means that the older model is either going to be continued once again, or that they're going to create a completely new model, new reference, new stats. Maybe it'll be thicker, maybe it'll be slim, maybe a difference in the power reserve. But, only time will tell. In looking at the typical trend of when watches get discontinued, I wouldn't be surprised if the old chrono goes up in value. Or maybe even the 50th anniversary just becomes a highly collectible timepiece. Especially with that oscillating weight. It's completely different. It has a giant 50 on the back. Yeah. And, if I was a huge AP fan, which I'm not, I definitely want the 50th anniversary, because it's like, boom, this was only produced for 1 year. It was only produced for, a limited amount of time, and I have it.
It definitely seems like a watch collection type of watch, like something that you want to be able to add just because of what's behind it and like the history and like what it truly is. Yeah.
I think just seeing that it's a special edition or limited edition, or just like having it as an anniversary piece, it just always adds more to the watch.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't think it was a limited edition. Actually, I think it was just a anniversary model. But regardless, I think that watch will definitely be collectible in the future, and only time will tell.
Speaking of chronographs, what about the John Mayer, the Rolex Daytona?
Dude.
It's been for a long time they've said that they're going to discontinue it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So especially around the John Mayer Daytona, there's been so much hype. A lot of people thought it was going to get discontinued when the new 2020 models came out. And guess what? It didn't. They thought the same thing in 2021, and it's still sticking around. And there was so much hype. I think the price of a John Mayer back in 2020 was probably floating around like 80,000 to 90,000. When Rolex released their new pieces, a lot of people thought there was going to be no more John Mayer. The exclusivity and the collectability of that was going to shoot up.
Yeah.
So people started hoarding, you know, people were like, I'll take a John Mayer at 90. I'll take a John Mayer at 100, you know, and these watches, they just start getting collected everywhere. All the dealers and collectors were just holding on to them. And they're like, you know what, maybe if I hold on to this for just 6 months and then find out that the piece has been discontinued, I could probably sell it for, you know, maybe 120, 130, maybe even 150, who knows, right? Still didn't happen. So this is the big question. With the 60th anniversary coming up, right? Because Daytona came out, I believe in, what was it? 1963. Yeah, 1963.
Should we quickly fact check that?
Yeah, we're going to need a fact check on that. So the Daytona, essentially, it debuted in 1963. Thanks for the fact check, by the way. And keep in mind that this is only when they actually added the words Daytona to a watch. There's also watches called a pre-Daytona. And that's kind of dabbling into the vintage world of sorts. And I don't want to go in that direction. But especially with the John Mayer and the Platona, you'll definitely be able to see at least some type of update. We have no idea what's going to be coming out. I mean, you guys saw what Rolex did to the left-hand GMT. It's, you know, some people call it the Sprite. Honestly, I think lefty makes more sense because it's a bit more unique. Unless you want to keep with like the drink theme, you know, root beer, Pepsi, yada, yada, yada.
Monster. But that's,
yeah,
I've been saying that's what it should be called.
Yeah, it's monstrosity, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, you're so good with these hot takes.
Yeah. And it's not even a hot take.
I know. For me, it's like calling a watch a monstrosity. It could be a little bit of a hot take, just saying.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of that green GMT. I think it's gonna ride the hype for a little bit. And then I think we'll probably see a bit of a downfall on that piece, but that's just my take. At the end of the day, you have a left-handed watch, which, you know, yay for being inclusive, but, you know, majority of the world is still right-handed. And, you know, that's not going to change anytime soon.
Well, so the interesting thing with the new 2022 releases from Rolex, there was no Daytona. So potentially the John Mayer could be like a 60th anniversary type situation. Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe they'll make a larger case size.
Yeah.
Keep the green dial and keep the gold case and the bracelet. Maybe it might come out on a Oyster Flex bracelet. They could really take it in any direction. And a lot of times it's because Rolex is Rolex. They get to do what they want. They don't really care about what people think, to be honest, especially in terms of what people are looking for. A lot of people thought there was going to be a ceramic Coke. So that is essentially, you know, the Pepsi or the Batman with a black and red bezel, you know, with that same ceramic bezel. You have the large case. Yeah, no, I love the Pepsi. I'm sorry. I love the Coke. And I'd love to snag one for myself, but, you know, getting your hands on those is so much more difficult. Yeah. You know, and it's pretty hard. It's much easier said than done.
Yeah. Speaking of new releases, Patek, they haven't released a Nautilus. They haven't released a Aquanaut. Yeah. So maybe some big things are in the process with them. Maybe we'll get something a little bit unique.
Yeah. So rumor has it that, you know, with these big brands, at the end of the day, they kind of do what they want to do, right? I mentioned Rolex doing like the left-hand GMT. I saw a meme somewhere with like the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock, you know, slapping the green GMT, and you see like the winding crown on the right side move over to like the left side, and I'm just like, Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe Rolex really did not care, and they're just testing the waters.
The pot.
Yeah, maybe they're stirring the pot. They're testing the waters. With Patek and what they're doing with the Aquanaut and the Nautilus, apparently the president of the company said they didn't want people to focus so much on those two, models or those two like categories.
Yeah.
Which kind of begs the question, what did he want us to focus at? What did he want us to look at? Are we looking at, the Calatrava? Are we looking at, some of those dress watches that don't necessarily have as much hype or support?
Yeah.
But the main rumor is that maybe towards the end of this year, or maybe even early in next year, who knows, maybe Watches and Wonders 2023, Patek is going to come out with a new Aquanaut and a new Nautilus.
That'd be rad.
Yeah, no, seriously, that'd be really cool. I think it's so counterculture, especially because they had all the watches come out in April or whatever, March at Watches and Wonders. Why are they waiting until the end of this year, or why are they waiting until early next year?
I guess honestly, it's probably just to see how the community and the watch enthusiasts react to the leather straps. Maybe, but ultimately, it'd be really, really cool if they came out with like a new Nautilus next year. Because, like I mentioned, I actually really like the Nautilus. So yeah, it'd be really cool to see if they came out with something exciting like that, like a new Aquanaut, a new Nautilus next year. Hopefully, that rumor is true.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, anything can happen at this point.
Yeah.
But I guess that really leaves the question, if all of these models are getting discontinued, which one would you take home?
Out of all of these that we just talked about?
The AP, the Pateks, the potentially Platonas or the John Mayers.
I mean, it's so difficult because I have a very specific type of watch, but I think the 50th anniversary AP kind of brings that that watch collection potential. Like the fact that it's an anniversary watch, the fact of what it comes with, the mechanics, the 50th in the back. I think I would potentially say that. And again, obviously this is just me not being that completely like into the APs and whatnot. But yeah, I think I'd probably do with that one. Obviously the John Mayer is iconic, but I think it's a little bit too iconic for me these days. I see it a little bit too much. I think it's a little bit saturated. Just the John Mayer, at this point it's just the John Mayer. But yeah, what would you, out of all those, what would you do?
If I had a chance to, just see all of those watches lined up right in front of me and I take one home, I'm taking home the Platinum Daytona.
Okay.
I have a huge, love for chronographs. I love how the Daytona looks. I think the Daytona, it isn't as flashy as the John Mayer with the gold, right? With the yellow gold and the green dial. I think it is a bit more subtle. And to be honest, I've never liked diamonds on a watch except for that watch. I think that is the only exception with diamonds and watches.
Nice. Honestly, that's a pretty solid choice. So
thank you. Yeah. Now I just need to find one. Yeah, I know. At retail, hopefully.
Honestly, that'd be a miracle, maybe.
All right.
But yeah, so that concludes episode 3. So there's a few things that we want to leave you with before we end the episode. Technically, yesterday, the event happened. We were recording this a week before. So yesterday the event happened, and you definitely want to tune in and see our live stream that we will have already pre-recorded on our YouTube channel. But we have a few big names coming in, and we have some really awesome watches that we're going to have on display. I'm super excited. Episode 4 is where we're going to be talking about a little bit more in depth. So definitely subscribe if you want to hear more about it. We're super excited to be able to showcase you guys what's going to happen in the event. And I'm very excited to be rubbing shoulders with a few cool people that you guys might know. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more content. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys will be tuning in, get to see a some familiar faces or some celebrities. Thanks again for tuning in. We'd love to see you again next week.